Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Youngie in the house. Are you ready for a quick adventure? No! Cool. Let's chat about Rwanda. I'm talking the richest country in Africa. This info blows my mind. And if it's fascinating to you too, stick around till the end of the video. Rwanda is a country with wildlife and natural riches, which is known as the Pearl of Africa. African countries are often described with their poverty, even though the continent, compared to other continents, appears weak. It covers a large geographic area, approximately 20% of the total Earth's surface. Currently, there are 54 countries in this continent, each with completely different political structures. But in this video, I will recount the interesting life of the people and their unfamiliar customs in all their realities and get to know the country of Rwanda better. Before watching this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button, support us by liking this video, and continue to stay with the channel. Rwanda is a small country located in the heart of Africa, next to large lakes. Although Rwanda's area is not large due to the rapid population growth, 12 million people live in this country, with 440 people per square meter. Approximately 1,300,000 people live in Kigali, the capital, which has made this city the most densely populated in the African continent. In recent years, Rwanda, with its successful management and the stability that prevails in the country, has been able to attract attention to itself due to its growing economy. After Mr. Paul Kagame took over the presidency in 2000, Rwanda made great efforts for development and progress. In the past decade, it has had an almost 7% annual economic growth, while Rwanda's economic growth was 8% last year. This figure was 6% for China, 2% for the United States, and approximately 1% for Japan and Europe. One of the simplest ways to compare countries is to consider the crime rate in these countries. It is noteworthy that in Rwanda, only 2.5 crimes occur per 100,000 people. Rwanda also ranks 48th in countries with the lowest corruption. Although this ranking is not very good, it still accounts for a great success. On the other hand, due to poverty and lack of infrastructure in the world, especially in Africa, more than 2 billion people do not have access to basic health facilities such as vaccinations or blood transfusions. If a mother bleeds during childbirth and cannot wait for 3 hours for a blood transfusion, the lack of these facilities may lead to casualties. Due to these life-threatening risks in rural areas, the Rwandan government began building unmanned drones. These unmanned drones are capable of transporting a payload of 6 kilograms, such as half-liter blood bags, to health centers. Due to their high precision in manufacturing these drones, they take off again 5 minutes after delivery. These unmanned drones move using GPS navigation and launching mechanisms and can reach a speed of 100 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. When they reach the delivery location, they release their payload along with a rescue parachute and return to the center. Currently, the average life expectancy in Rwanda is 67 years. Although this number may seem somewhat lower than the global average, it is unbelievable that this average was exactly 25 years less, approximately 990 in the last decade. The Rwandan government, which has currently transformed into one of the fast countries in the world in terms of development, has planned transparent and organized programs for its advancement. The Rwandan government intends to become the Singapore of Africa. To properly understand this Rwandan government goal, we first need to understand how Singapore has succeeded in reaching its current position. In the competition between governments for global supremacy, Americans were victorious in the 1900s and Asians in the 2000s. Currently, we live in a century where the world is under the control of Asian countries, and for now, Singapore is a shining star in East Asia. Singapore is currently the 3rd wealthiest country and the 8th safest country in the world. 60 years ago, the gross domestic product of this country was approximately $700 million. Currently, this figure has reached $320 billion. In the past decade, Singapore's gross domestic product has doubled. In other words, Singapore has transformed from a third world country to a first world country in a short amount of time. 15 of the 20 largest companies currently operating in Singapore, which is considered the trading center of Asia. This economic success of Singapore has occurred due to three factors. 1. Geographical centrality. 2. Political stability. 3. Ease of doing business. The president of Rwanda has also stated that he is trying to provide these three factors as part of his duties in the country. The first central issue is geographical centrality. At present, Singapore Airlines is the world's second largest airline, and it is possible that having an airline on the world stage may be underestimated. But thanks to these airlines, Singapore can provide flights to the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, China, India, all major commercial centers in East Asia and Asia, and thus have access to all major commercial centers in these regions. And this subject has many advantages for Singapore. Rwanda is like Singapore, the center of the African trade region. And if we look at Rwanda from this point, Rwanda is located in the center of the African continent, similar to the position of Singapore on the Asian continent, and is the closest destination for access to the commercial centers of the region. Having a competitive international airline plays a big role in turning this country's largest city into a commercial center. If cities like Dubai in the United Arab Emirates and Doha in Qatar did not have international airlines, they would not have had such a significant impact in the region. Rwandair has become increasingly larger by making changes, purchasing new aircraft for intercontinental travel, and currently most flights with this airline are from the center of this country, Kigali, to destinations such as Dubai, Brussels, London, and most parts of Africa. The country of Rwanda has announced that it is going to soon have flights to the largest exhibition of Chinese exports and imports in the city of New York. Maybe Rwandair has not yet reached the level of other African airlines, but with the establishment of effective communication channels, it is growing and advancing. The second factor for Singapore's economic success is the political stability of this country. The World Bank has classified countries based on political stability and the absence of terrorism. In this classification, Singapore has appeared almost surprising, with almost 100% better than any other country. When a country lacks political stability, taxes increase day by day. So having political stability is very important. Rwanda has 48% political stability. Perhaps this level of stability is not a significant achievement, but compared to the overall average of the African continent, which is about 31%, it can be said that Rwanda has a good position in terms of political stability. The German automaker Volkswagen has invested $20 million in Rwanda in recent years, considering this level of stability, and has launched a car production plant in this country. Also, the capital of Rwanda, Kigali, is currently one of the cleanest cities in Africa. The reason for this cleanliness is that the government has prohibited the use of plastic bags, and users are heavily penalized. Also, all residents of the city, except for those who are sick, are required to clean the entire city on the last Sunday of every month. The third and final factor that has contributed to Singapore's success in the field of trade is ease of doing business, and Rwanda has achieved the highest success in this area. The main indicators of this factor are 1. Nailis, starting a business; 2s, obtaining licenses; 3s, employment and dismissal index; 4 tiers, property registration; 5s, obtaining credit; 6, supporting investors; 7, paying taxes; 8, cross-border trade; 9, dissolution of an activity; and 10, the necessary execution of contracts, which means acting according to the law. Rwanda has ranked 29th in the world according to the ease of doing business indicators, and has also ranked first in ease of doing business among African countries, to the extent that Kigali has been recognized as a city of startups and new businesses. Rwanda has implemented many economic and legal reforms to achieve this goal and has created a suitable environment for doing business. The government, with the collaboration of private sector investments, has built the Kigali Convention Center worth $300 million, and by doing so, it has started to attract foreign markets. In addition to having attractions such as a clean capital, unique coffee, low crime rate, colorful landscapes, and a 1,000-year-old African culture, and hotels such as Hilton and Marriott, and hundreds of other hotels. Rwanda has also started to welcome foreign visitors. In 2005, about $10.5 million of foreign investment was made in Rwanda. This amount in 2017 reached $293 million. Rwanda has been able to attract the trust of large governments by establishing appropriate communications and negotiate with them. According to the law of growth and opportunity, African countries benefit from preferential trade agreements and easy access to the markets of America and Europe. However, this does not mean that Rwanda is opening the way for its own industrialization. The president of Rwanda has repeatedly stated that the people of the country do not forget their history, and they remember how the Europeans, especially the French, have colonized their country. Rwanda is still one of the poorest countries in the world, with an annual income of only $750 per capita. The question still remains whether it was necessary for the government to spend such exorbitant amounts on the country's aviation infrastructure, considering the number of people living below the poverty line. Many believe that Rwanda is a country of a middle income and affluent class, but the reality is that Rwanda is rapidly growing and progressing. There is no fixed economic growth in the world. There is a big difference between the economic growth of the United States, which was the economic superpower of the 20th century, and the economic growth of China, which is on the path to becoming the superpower of the 21st century. America has a democratic government, and China has an authoritarian government. This example shows that there may be several different ways to achieve economic growth. Rwanda still has a military government, and random inspections still exist in this country, especially in its capital, Kigali, where many buildings have strict security measures. My name is Yungi, and thank you for being with me until the end of this video. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to like and share the video with your friends. Alright, are you ready to time travel into the future? Join me in the next video to unveil the mysteries of Neom City, the spot where robots are gearing up to take charge. Skies will be navigated by flying taxis, and an artificial moon will illuminate the night. The future beckons, and you absolutely can't afford to miss it.